Hey, Anna, thank you for jumping on this call and sharing your experience of the divine life with all of these mamas. I so appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Amy. Absolute pleasure.
So, I would love it if you could take us back to 4 months ago when you and I first spoke. At the start of the Divine Life program, I have a one on one session with each of you, and we talk about where you are and what you think a divine life might look like. And I really remember our call. You were quite emotional and felt really deep in it and not even sure how to get out or what this divine life would look like. Can you take us back and share what that
Mm.
was like for you?
Sure, it feels like a lifetime ago now.
Mm,
But at that time, I was heading down a road that I didn't want to head down. It makes me teary even thinking about it. I was so lost in my life, in where I was heading, what I was doing. I felt like I was at a crossroad and I'd taken the wrong path and I had no idea how to get back. I didn't know what happiness looked like. I didn't
mm,
know what I wanted. I didn't know how to get there. I
mm,
didn't know anything except that I was being the mother that I didn't want to be. And I couldn't get myself back out of that. And I was blaming everybody else around me. I blamed my mum, blamed my husband, blamed my children, blamed everybody else until I realized that it was me that needed to change and it was me that needed to do something. But what that something was, I didn't know. And by absolute fluke of on Facebook, someone had recommended your course. And I actually really thought this mother's got it together. She knows what she's going on about. So if she's recommending it, this is where I'm going to start. And that
mm,
was before the Divine Life. So I had done some I started with a 5-day course, I think it was.
mhm.
And I had done then every course that you had possibly put in front of us, I was signing up to. So, but ironically, when I saw the Divine Life course, I was a bit like, ooh, I don't know if like I've got the time. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I can. And then I was couldn't work out really what my blocks were. And when I went to click the button to sign up, I was like, what's stopping me? And it was fear. It was fear of the unknown. And I was like, I got to do this. I've just got to do this. I've got to get out of this somehow. And if this is what's making me nervous or fearful of doing this, I don't know what's going to come out of this, but I've got to do it. Everything that Amy has said so far resonated with me, and I could see little glimpses in my life of it getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And I was like, I've just got to jump in, have a go, give it my all that I have, and gosh, I'm grateful I did.
Oh, it's going to be so hard to not cry while we talk because we had a little chat before we hit record for this video about where you are now. And it is so spectacular. It makes me emotional trying to explain it. But for mamas that are watching, what's happened to you over the last 4 months? Can you try and explain what it is? Because there's quite a few that are considering this program but feel like you did, which is, I don't even know what a divine life looks like. I'm not even that ambitious. I don't have big things. I just don't like where I'm at. So what's happened over the last 4 months?
Everything. Everything has happened. My whole life has changed. In saying that, nothing in bricks and mortar. I've got no more money than I had before. I've got no more anything materialistic than I had before. But what I have now is the clearest path on where I'm going. And that doesn't mean that I know where I am going, as in I'm going to end up at A, B, and C. It means that I have absolute faith in who I am, what the world is going to bring to me, that I have the ability, the tools, the everything to just take life on.
Mm.
Whatever life is going to throw my way, whether it's good or bad, I've got this. And through doing your course, I have this massive bank of tools that I can use every single day to keep my life how I want it. And when I say how I want it, I feel so centered, so balanced, so sure in my decisions when I'm throwing things or when I'm at what to do here. I have the tools to be able to just dig in deep to what's inside of me and bring out the best of me every single time.
Wow. And what about the support? Because I keep talking about the fact that to do something for 4 months is important. It's the length. As you said, you've done the shorter courses and you get snippets of it, but it's the length of time of the immersion that is important. But it's also those running buddies around you, isn't it? It's that feeling of checking in every fortnight with those live calls, checking in with the Facebook group, reaching out. That's really, really powerful, isn't it?
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Mm.
I'm not a very big Facebook person, and
Mm.
actually going into the course, I was a little bit nervous about it because it's just not really my thing. And I was like, no, I'm just, this group is what I'm going to be involved in. And it is nearly like a little lifeline you have. And the women in the group are amazing, and they give you so much support. And that's not necessarily by having to post every day of what's going on in your world. It is the conversations that are had that resonate with me, or even if they don't, it's seeing someone else going through something different, and it might not be in your world right now, but then you come a week down the line and you're like, uh-huh,
That's
I
what
got
so and
this.
so. Yes, that's what
Yeah,
she was talking about. Yes.
yeah, because Thingo had it last week, or
Yes.
Mary had it 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And seeing other women go through the same process, and seeing their struggles, seeing their achievements, seeing how their journey is evolving helps in that whole process. Like, I'm addicted to the group now. Like, I do not have a single reminder or anything from Facebook except that, like, every single time someone posts it, I'm like, oh, have a look,
Yes.
like, comment, whatever it might be. But it's just having a group of women who, they're not all in Australia in our group. There's some are overseas, and they're the type of women that if you happen to run into them down the street, I feel like we would sit and hug and talk for 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
That there would not be one moment of uncomfortable conversation or anything like that. I feel so connected and supported, and I feel like they are part of my group of friends, and I have actually never met any of them face to face.
Oh, I love it. You're making me so emotional with this conversation. I agree. I feel about each of you exactly the same way. You are my people forever. And
Mm,
it's just so amazing to have that support around you. So
mhm.
finally, you started by saying that you were going down the path of not being the mum you wanted to be. Can you talk about what type of mum you are now?
Amazing. I am the mom I wanted to be. Like, I was yelling at my kids. My mum never, ever, ever yelled at us.
Mm,
And I was yelling at my kids. I was swearing. My mum never swears. My
mm,
family doesn't swear. I was saying and doing things that it just didn't align with me.
mm,
And it was I don't know if out of frustration's the right word. It was just not me. I would feel so guilty afterwards.
Mm.
And I could hear, not necessarily even just swear words, but the language I was using with my children coming out in them. They're young, they're 2 and 4. So I could hear my 4-year-old near repeating words that I said that made me feel sick to the stomach to think that a 4-year-old was coming out with this. But I knew that the only reason they were coming out with this was because I was saying it. And I wasn't the wife I wanted to be. I wasn't the mother I wanted to be. I wasn't the person I wanted to be.
Mm.
And it was just not me. I don't know how else to explain it, that
It makes
I
sense.
wasn't comfortable in my own skin,
Yes.
and I couldn't get out of that.
Mm. Mm. And
But
now,
I was going to say, but
mm.
now I know I will never, ever, 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 ever go back to that. I can't. Like, there's no way,
Mm.
nothing in my
Mm.
life
Mm.
could come into my world and put me back to that place. And the reason I can say that is that after doing this for 40 days, I have used lots of your tools to be able to bring myself back into where I want to be, and bring myself back into the mother I want to be, the wife I want to be. And the language that I'm using now around my children, and now my 2-year-old who's starting to talk, and hearing her, as soon as my voice starts to get to that angry point, and she says, "Oh, Mum, I don't like that voice." And I'm like, "Neither do I."
Mm.
Deep breath, 5 deep breaths. It's like one of my key, simple as go-to. 5 deep breaths before I say another word. 5 deep breaths. And it can just bring me back to woo up, woo, woo, woo.
Mm.
And another one I love is be loving, be kind, but the energy is mine.
Mm.
So when I find myself in a situation, whether it's social, whether it's my family, whether it's my in-laws, whether it's someone in the middle of the street, I can just take a deep breath, say it to myself. They can still be standing in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
but I am not letting the world go around me and affecting how I feel.
That's
I
right.
can hold myself and know that I am proud of who I am now. I am proud of as a mother. I'm proud as a wife. And I am proud of the lifestyle I am choosing. And because of that, I will never, ever, ever go back to where I was, ever, ever,
Oh,
ever, ever. I just won't.
oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Watching and witnessing what you have done over the last 4 months has been so inspiring for me and for the other women in this group. I just adore sharing this with you and celebrating where you are. And I know you know this, but when you work on yourself like this, you change the future for your children. And that is the greatest gift. And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal what you've done. Thank you,
Thank
beautiful.
you. Well, thank you for doing all this work that you have done to help mamas out there get to this point. Mamahood threw me for 6.
Mm.
And if I had not come across you, I don't know where my life would have ended up. I definitely would not be sitting here today saying how proud I am as a parent, how
Mm.
proud I am as a wife, how proud I am of just me,
Mm.
because of the tools you have given us. And to any mama out there who is thinking, shouldn't I, dive in. You will not regret this one single bit. And I say it now, I would pay double the amount to do it. If I knew what I have got out of this course, and if some way I could explain to you how that's going to happen, then I would. But it's your journey, but you will
Mm.
love it. You'll absolutely love it. And you don't need a lot of time. It can be small, tiny steps. I started by putting earrings in every
Mm.
day. That was my first step to getting myself back on track. And it's so small. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, and my kids are even like, "You've forgotten your earrings, haven't you, Mum?"
I know it. I love it. Wow. It's just beautiful, Anna. Thank you so much. It's just amazing to share this with you. Thank you, beautiful.
Thanks, Amy.